Here it is, the much anticipated new 2021 Kia Carnival. This is the top spec platinum model with all the bells and whistles. Let's see how good it is as a baby drive. Starting with the exterior of the new Kia Carnival, it has lost that frumpy mum bus stigma. This car looks really cool. It's been lowered, it is much longer and wider, but by shortening the nose, it doesn't look as big and it does look very luxurious. This new 2021 Kia Carnival has got two new door features that I'm going to show you. Firstly, I can just press on the unlock button on the key fob here and it will automatically open both side doors and the boot. Secondly, just having the key upon my person, I can walk up to the car and either the boot or the sliding doors will open. The boot of the new Kia Carnival is even bigger than the previous one. In the back here you can get a twin stroller really easily with loads of space to spare, and also the fact that it sits down in there means it's not going to move around or slide out when they open the boot door. I can get my kids' bike in here, their lunchbox, their balls, all their stuff, and you'd easily get enough in here for a family of 8. There's 4 luggage hooks on the back of these seats. They're really good so that your shopping doesn't move around in the boot. Also you can hang kids' lunch boxes, things like that, so they don't spill. These side storage areas are really handy because you can keep things in there that you always have, like your first aid kit, sun cream, and you can isolate things that are wet or dirty after sports or the beach. In the front seats, everything's easily accessible and practical. There are 2 cup holders in the central console. They'll hold a reusable and disposable coffee cup. There's a phone storage between them and a wireless phone charging well in front of them too, with USB and 12-volt sockets. The new Carnival has a single cavernous glove box, but you do lose the second one that used to be above it. The new Carnival no longer has the handy conversation mirror and sunglasses case in the ceiling, unfortunately. Instead, there is a small well in front of the central console box. The central console storage box is enormous and can easily hold all the items we carry with us regularly. There is a shelf on the side of the central console too, which is large enough to hold an iPad. The door bins in the front will hold a large refillable water bottle, and there are the handle wells in the doors too. When it comes to storage in the back, it's arguably more important than in the front. In the back of the new Carnival, there's a bag hook to hang school bags on, there's enough cup holders for all the rear passengers, and there's places for them to store their phones too. There's mat pockets on the back of both front seats that have double layer mesh and solid, and the solid is great so that they can keep phones and belongings in there when they're at the park or the beach and they can't be seen. And if you aren't using the central seat in the second row, you can fold that down and it acts like a table, and there's cup holders and phone holders too. There are some welcome changes in the front of the Carnival for families. The interior is much more luxurious and modern. There's a new rotary gear knob in the central console that's much more minimal and easy to use. In particular, the seat leather is now available in black, different to before and much more practical for families. Dirt is not as easily seen and easier to wipe clean. The driver's seat can remember your seating position, so when you switch between parents driving, you don't have to readjust your seat. Also, the front passenger seat can be easily adjusted by the driver using the buttons on the side. So when you're letting kids in the back or elderly relatives, it's really nice and simple. There are built-in window blinds in all 4 rear windows, which are great for keeping little rear passengers shielded from the sun. There are aircon vents in all 3 rows of the Carnival. These are great for keeping the rear passengers cool. There is a convenient control panel in the ceiling for teenagers and adults to use in the back, but ultimately the driver has control of the system and can lock the rear system and set the temperature and airflow throughout the entire vehicle. Lastly, there are USB charging points in both rear rows of seats. Great for keeping kids occupied on devices without the fear of their batteries running out. There are now 5 top tether anchorages and 5 ISOFIX in the new Kia Carnival. With top tether anchorages and ISOFIX in all 3 second row seats and in the 2 outer third row seats. There are 3 individual seats in the second row and the shoulder width has been increased slightly, so I could very easily fit 3 child seats across the second row. And with 2 child seats in the third row, I can just fit between them, and I'm 162 centimetres. There are 2 ways to access the third row in the new Kia Carnival. If you are not using the central second row seat, you can remove it to create a walk-through to the third row. Or you can bring either of the outer second row seats forward with a child seat installed using ISOFIX rather than the seat belt, giving just enough room for a child to squeeze through to the back. I can just fit through and I'm 162 centimetres. However, I don't think the third row access is as good in the new Kia Carnival. The second row outer seats do not tilt in the way the previous models did, so there doesn't seem to be as much step through space. Otherwise, you can bring this second row seat forward and then the seat back, keeping the child seat installed, and there's this gap here for the child to climb through to access the third row seats. Legroom in the new Kia Carnival is dramatically increased. We found we could fit a full-size child seat in the third row, a rear-facing child seat in the second row, and a 180cm passenger in the front seat. There's also no hump in the central footwell of the Carnival, which makes it really easy for adults and children to walk through. A grown adult can sit in the central seat in the second row between 2 child seats, which is really important for parents because quite often we need to travel in the back with young kids. Also, now this central seat belt comes from the shoulder rather than the ceiling, which is great because it stops it cutting into your neck like in the previous model. The new Kia Carnival is bigger than the previous one. However, the new power steering model makes that turning circle really tight, and it's got really light steering too. The new Kia Carnival has lane keep assist, blind spot collision avoidance, rear cross traffic alert, side exit assist. They're all things that help a distracted driver when you have a large car with 5 child seats in the back affecting visibility. Side exit assist is especially good because it stops the kids and you in the front being able to open the doors and get out when there's something coming alongside you. My favourite feature for parents is the driver attention warning though, which lets you know when the car in front of you has pulled off and you haven't noticed because you're too busy dealing with the kids in the back. There are airbags in all 3 rows of the new Kia Carnival and rear seat occupancy alert in both rear rows of seats. Now there's a few key things in this new Kia Carnival that I want to show you that are really good for parents. The first one is sounds of nature. This is gold for parents. These white noises are what help keep their little ones calm and help them get to sleep. Secondly is quiet mode. Once you've got your kids to sleep, you can move the media or the radio just to the front and it won't disturb the little sleeping passengers in the back. And thirdly is the passenger talk function, which amplifies my voice so that I don't need to shout to communicate with the kids in the third row. Can you stop picking your nose in the back there and put your seatbelts on, please? I said take your finger out of your nose and put your seatbelt on. The new Kia Carnival has wireless CarPlay and Android Auto, so you can access things like ABC Kids Listen app while driving along and digital radio for other things like kindling that kids love to listen to. There's multiple Bluetooth connections so 2 passengers can have their phones linked up at one time. The cameras in the new Kia Carnival have much better image quality than the previous model. They're crisp and clear and you have multiple angles to view the car from. You can turn the parking sensors off with a button down in the central console. I've recently spent 3 months living with the previous model Kia Carnival and it was pretty much perfection for my family. The good news is that some of the things that disappointed me about the old one have now been addressed, like the central seatbelt for example, and the addition of more top tethers and ISOFIX makes seating much more flexible. I love the looks of the new Carnival and can't wait to spend more time with it with my family and give it a thorough baby drive review.